Welcome to another Survivor Debrief exit interview. Yes, it's me, Josh again, Eden, still on a holiday, and I'm here with the lovely Logan today. Unfortunate to see you go out, but thanks so much for joining us today. How are you feeling off the back of your Survivor journey?
Thank you for having me. I am so wrapped. It has been so fun to watch this all unfold. It's been super exciting just to hear the other little chats that I wasn't a part of. And I was like, when did this
Yeah.
happen? I was like, it was AJ, it was Miles. So it's been super fun to watch. I am loving every minute of this. It's been a dream since I was a kid to head up and go tackle the survival world. So I'm super glad I got the opportunity to do that. And I'm really proud of myself.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a bit about that. Your journey to getting on Survivor. What was your casting journey like?
Yeah, so this was my fourth time talking to production. So I don't think I applied necessarily 4 times, but yeah, I was in contact with them at least 4 times. My first ever one was, I think it was Champions versus Contenders. And I kind of got all the way to sort of the panel stage and was in chats with production then and didn't get that, which was fine. And I got a call the following year asking if I was interested still and trying to feel me out. But unfortunately, I was pregnant at the time, so that one was a no-go.
Come on,
And
where's your hunger for Survivor?
it was like halfway due, and I was like, "Sorry, baby, I gotta go." But no, then I think it was a couple of years later, and it was the Blood versus Water season where I got another call up, and they really were interested in asking me about my husband, and I was like, "Why do they keep asking me about Jason?" Asked me about him before. So then it kind of clued on that it was a Blood versus Water season and Jason was in the middle of AFL. So
Yep.
that was never going to happen. And I kind of just let it go for a while. I had another baby and I had a big, beautiful wedding and just was living my life, doing uni. And I had this weird sort of click at the start of last year. And I was like, do you know what? I think it's time. I think it's time to get the red hot track. And I did. And I just knew as soon as I sort of submitted my application and I felt so comfortable with myself and who I was putting forward. I was so sure of who I am. And I think that's what I was missing the first few times. And I just, yeah, as soon as I put it forward, I kind of knew. I was like, yeah, this is happening. This is going to go ahead. And it did. And I'm so grateful.
That's excellent. That's great. Now, in terms of once you got cast, in terms of your strategy and your thinking before getting out there, how did that differ from when you actually hit the beach and had to start playing for real?
Yeah, look, I think my strategy was pretty similar to what I wanted. I wanted to go in and be a really big social butterfly. I wanted to have connections everywhere. My main thing is I wanted a core alliance, but I also wanted to have sort of individual alliances with people. And that worked out really well with the Coven at the start. I think the Coven meant a lot of different things to everyone that was included in the Coven. So for me personally, the Coven was about ensuring that a woman wasn't picked off first just for the fact that she was a woman, because we see a lot of times in reality shows where you're looked at as weaker just because you're smaller, and I hate that. So
Well, we kind of
I
saw that
love
with Candy this season, didn't we?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, and I think us seeing Candy go home first and hearing that was because she wasn't strong enough or blah blah blah, like that was really frustrating to hear, and I think it really fueled us to say, no, we're sticking together as four strong women, sorry. And we're going to make sure that we're not booted off. And unfortunately, Indy kind of messed it up for us because we didn't want Indy to go first. We were like, no, a woman is not going home
Yeah.
first. It sucks. So she kind of messed it up a little bit, but that's okay.
But I think you
We
made
worked
it. You made a really good strong four. But some might say maybe the four women were
very
too strong.
I think the thing is, yeah, we're all very, very different people, and we're very opinionated, and we're very strong and headstrong as well.
Yeah.
Which is what makes us amazing friends, but didn't work out as allies.
And can you tell us, what do you think your best move out there was?
Oh gosh, look, honestly, I think it's controversial, but I do think my best move was Karen's move. But if it worked out the way I wanted it to work out, it would have been great. It was just unfortunate that it kind of fell back into a different way and it didn't go as planned. Kristen, I'm looking at you. Come on.
How are you hoping it was going to play out?
Yeah, look, so this one's a really, really interesting one. So my plan was not particularly to get out Karen herself. It was to break up the graduates. I saw them. I had been watching them since the Brains day. They thought that they were invisible, and I was like, I've been watching you guys. I see exactly what's going on here. I don't want any part of this. I want to break you apart. I don't care about the buddy system. I need to break up these graduates.
Yeah.
So I saw that the weakest link in the Graduates Alliance was a relationship between AJ and Karen. As she said, they felt like a married couple and they should have been divorced 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So I wanted to come into the reward challenge with AJ, Kaylin, and Kristen and say, let's go Karen, because I knew that was going to be palatable for AJ. But in reality, I actually really wanted Zara gone because Zara had more of an in with the boys than Karen did. But to get the boys on my side, to get the votes on Karen, I needed them to think it was Karen. And then I wanted to switch it around and put it on Zara. I end up having a chat with Kristen, and you see the very small snippet of that chat where Kristen's saying, should we put it on Zara? And I was like, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And then, oh, actually, and she kind of chickens out of the move. And then for some reason, I don't understand. I was like, why did you not go ahead with that when we had the numbers? And then Miles is throwing out Zara's name and it's all getting a bit convoluted. And I'm like trying to figure out, okay, if I do move it on Zara, what's the backlash going to be like for me? So when you're in a scramble like that, it is really, really difficult. But yeah, and then Kristen goes and kind of blows it all up by telling Karen, and I was like, no, if we had to switch it over to Zara, then we could have brought Karen back to camp and said, we've just saved you, you owe us your life, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But,
well, do you think you would have had a good chance of working with Karen, because she did essentially tell you to play the idol and seem to want to keep you in the game? Do you think you would have had a better shot working with her rather than Zara?
Absolutely. I think Karen and I's relationship was really interesting because whilst to the public it's very obvious I want to protect Logan, in her confessionals I'm protecting Logan, Logan's my shield or whatever she's calling it. When we were out on the beach, no one really wanted to be seen talking to me too much at that stage, because being on the bottom, and if people are coming up and having long conversations, that's an indicator to everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, is she going to do something with someone that's on the bottom? So Karen kind of kept her distance, which I think really, really affected Karen and my relationship, because I wasn't included in all her plans. And when she did tell me something, it was kind of a quick whisper here and there. And I was like, babes, if we're trusting each other, we've got to go all in. You can't be just giving me these side conversations here and there and asking me to fully trust you, because we're at the pointy end of this game. AJ's been going at me since day 5. I need something solid here. Otherwise, I'm not going to feel any trust. And I think that's where I kind of lost it with Karen.
Yeah, well, we've kind of seen AJ and Miles kind of pulling that off quite successfully, where they're not really being seen to spend too much time together, but still sharing that information. Speaking about AJ, that seemed to be one of the fun rivalries for the whole season. What was it like? Because you went through different phases with him, working with him, then working against him. What was that tension, and what were those differences like going from playing with him to against him?
Oh, AJ is an absolute character. I mean, we laughed about our relationship out there so much. We said that we were enemies to lovers to enemies again. And it was crazy. I was like, I never know where I stand with you, mate. This is getting ridiculous. So
yeah.
It was really difficult because AJ had a really good social connection with everyone. But I was like, you've just told every single person out here the exact same compliment. I was like, I don't believe that shit. I've been around the football world long enough to see some fake. I was like, I can see right through that. And I don't think AJ loved that I was not like, AJ's biggest fan. I wasn't out to get him at the start. I was just like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Whatever you're doing, I'm not vibing it. So I think that's why he saw me sort of as a threat and someone to get out at the start. And then we can move over to Brawn 2.0, and we decided to bury the hatchet. We have a nice little moonlight chat, and we're like, let's just work together. We can stay strong, blah, blah, blah. And then immediately he's throwing out my name again. So I was like, this is why I can't trust you, man. Like, what do you mean? I'm trying to work with you here. And then, finally we sort of get over to merge. And I mean, when I'm pitching Karen to the other 3, I don't want to work with AJ. I'm trying to pitch AJ so I can get him to vote the way I want. I wanted to work with Kaylin and Kristen. I've been really trying to foster a relationship with Kaylin and Kristen since Brawn 2.0. And I mean, I'd been with Kaylin every day of my 39-day experience, except for the one overnight retreat. So I had a really, really strong relationship with Kaylin, which you don't really see at all, which is really surprising. But I think Kaylin had a really strong relationship with everybody. So he's playing a really, really great game at the minute as well.
So do you think that Kaylin relationship was one that probably your closest relationship that we didn't really see in the edit?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's a little funny comment I make. probably a few weeks ago where I'm like, AJ's going to be the death of me. But realistically, it was Kaylin. Kaylin was the death of me.
You did mention the graduates, you sort of had your eye on them for quite a while. If we go right back to the alley vote where they sort of first formed and Max used it advantage, he cut out Karen and Laura. You had a very funny reaction in that moment. Did you realize you'd lost Zara and Karen at that moment and this other form? Were you aware in that moment that it had formed?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. In the actual tribal itself, I was not sure which way it was going to go. I didn't know what Max was doing. I didn't know what the whispering was going on. I was literally, my mind, I think I was just frazzled because Max sent home Laura and Karen, and I was like, what are you doing? That's our ally right there.
Yeah.
I was like, do anything, send home one of the boys. What the hell is going on? So I think that whole tribal council had me a bit frazzled. And I was trying to, like, you can just see me. I'm just like, my face is not moving. I'm staring off into the distance. I'm like, what is happening with these numbers? I'm freaking out about it. But I get back to camp and Zara. I've seen Zara cry over her kids. I've seen her be upset. And the way that she fake cried and did whatever, I went back and I was like, you lying little girl. I was like, I've seen you cry. That was not a cry.
Great.
It's like, I was onto her from the start. And I think Laura and Karen got to have some chats back at the Brains camp when they got sent away. So Laura got a tiny bit more information on what was forming as well, and that got brought to me. So I was pretty aware of the graduates, and I don't think they knew how aware I was of them.
Now, going into the merge, you seem to be in a pretty good spot. You're in the majority for those first couple of votes. It really did seem like quite a quick shift away from that, from being in that good position. Just want to know, would you have played your idol if Karen hadn't told you to? Can you talk about that shift in the game?
Yeah, look, honestly, probably not. I mean, I had a really off feeling all day. I felt like something was up. I think if Karen hadn't said anything to me, you still pick up cues at tribal, and that's what I was kind of looking around doing afterwards. And you do get a lot of questions directed at you, and you're trying to be like, why am I sitting where exactly I'm sitting, and why are those two not looking at me, and what's going on, and like trying to read their answers. So I think there was a lot of context that I could have picked up, but I mean, I was told pretty early on, so it's kind of a question of would I not? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would be hopeful that I could have picked it up by the context of the tribal and just been like, nah, this is not right. This something here is really off. But yeah, I mean, who knows? I probably not.
And so was it quite a sudden change for you to be like, I thought I was in with this, and all of a sudden now I'm scrambling around at the bottom?
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing was I didn't understand why. I had a really good friendship with everyone sort of out there. And I think going into that, Laura had been really, really working on the Morgan and Kate relationship she'd had over on Brains 2.0. And I'd been working on Kristen, and I'd been working on Kaylin, and I had Karen. So I was really I was taken aback. There was a few things that had gone on, and a few final sixes and blah, blah, blah that got misconstrued to a few people. So I think that is what caused a few of the problems of that vote. So a few people heard someone say, oh, this is my final six, and that didn't actually get said. And then everyone gets, oh, I'm not in that. Why am I not in that? Oh, Logan's got an idol. She didn't tell me about her idol.
Yeah.
Like at this point, everyone knows about my goddamn idol. Like it's a public idol. Why do I need to tell you? Everyone knows.
Just get it out, get it played. Speaking of Kristen, Morgan, and Kate, going to Rocks, do you think, or do you know, did they understand and know what going to Rocks was and what it meant?
No.
No, they didn't?
They did not know what Rocks was.
Okay.
This is the funniest thing because I had just gotten Morgan and Kate on my side here. So they'd voted for me for 2 votes previously to this. So getting them on my side was a huge feat for me to be like, we need to stick strong. And the fact that they did for those 2 re-votes was incredible. But I specifically didn't tell them about Rocks at camp because I knew that would freak them out. And I needed them to stay strong for me to at least get me to the point of going to Rocks. And my major one was Kristen. I needed to speak to Kristen, explain Rocks, and explain the percentage chance that it's going to be between Miles and AJ. And that is our biggest shot to take out one of them right now when we're at a 4-4. That's an impasse right now. Those 4 are staying so strong. I have seen them since Brains point 1. I have seen this going on for that long. This is our only opportunity. And unfortunately, Kristen got stung by a wasp in the scramble. So she was taken away
I'm
from the
sorry?
scramble.
Are you
Yes.
serious?
The bugs of Samoa went to get me. The spider, the wasp, I was like, oh, you've got to be kidding. So you see me really only talking to Kate out there
Yeah,
and walking a
right.
little bit. Because Kristen was with stock to get attended medically by the medic team that's out there. That's amazing. But yeah, she got stung by a wasp and I lost my chance to talk to her about it.
Yeah, so in that moment, you sort of made that perfect pitch of they're a rock solid four. Obviously, you're in the great position of if you do go to rocks, you're not on the table. So that's a beautiful position to be in. What do you think it was that made them switch? Because it felt like you almost flipped at the end and went, "Don't worry about it, guys." Could you just see they didn't understand it wasn't going to work, or what was that sort of final moments like?
Yeah, look, so I mean, there's tribal council is a long period of time, and the snippets that you see of it are the kind of the gist of what happens.
Yeah,
So I think I did make that the pitch that was very correct. They are a strong four. They're not flipping on each other. If I go, it's just going to be 1, 2, 3, and I was really hopeful that that wouldn't happen for them. So we'll have to see how that turns out. Fingers crossed for them.
yeah,
But it was just it was hard for me to look at them and say, how can you not see that you're just going to go home, that you're saving one more day out here just to go home the next day if you don't make a big move right now. And this looks good on a resume. The ability to go to rocks and take that chance, like that's so awesome. So it was frustrating, but you just know when you're beat. And I tried to threaten Miles and AJ. I threw everything at it. I knew Miles and AJ were really, really concerned about jury management. And I looked at them and I was like, you put me on that jury, I'm going to taint everyone there. I'm not voting for either of you, blah, blah, blah.
yeah,
I was like, I mean, absolutely. Like, I am a game player. So I was saying
yeah.
whatever I could to stay in. But
In the final moments.
the girls looked at it. They just looked terrified. And
Yeah.
I mean, even if they don't understand rocks, they've still stayed out there 39 days, just as long as I have. And I couldn't look at someone and say, risk your game for me. I don't know that I mean, I probably would have gone to rocks if it was.
Well, it's a real moment of like, if I lose this vote, do I think I can't win anymore? And you just got to make that call in that moment.
Exactly.
We've just got a couple minutes left, so I might give you sort of a rapid fire ones. What do you think your biggest mistake out there was?
Trusting Kaylin. Trusting Kaylin.
Right. And what surprised you the most when you got out there?
How good I was at challenges.
Yeah, I think a lot of the challenges we saw, like you and Kate and Kristen, like a lot of the lighter, smaller women, like tended really, really well in a lot of those challenges. It was great to see.
I pushed myself so hard. I mean, I stood on pegs for ages. I balanced really well. Who knew?
And as you mentioned, took on spiders. It was great to see. Who do you think's playing the best game right now?
Right now, the best game would go between AJ and Kaylin, I think. AJ is playing an out-in-your-face game, and Kaylin's kind of doing a sneaky behind your back. But
did you get a sense of Kaylin's game out there? Because from what we've seen on the telly, it's been very subtle for a very long time. Do you think that's how you viewed it when you're out there?
Yes. Everyone knew he was doing something. Something was going on, but no one had any idea that he was running off and telling them exactly what everyone was saying. So Kaylin played that really, really well, and he deserved credit for that.
Is there something that didn't make the edit that you'd like to share with the fans?
Yeah, it's more so just my vote out and the reasoning behind that, which was Laura had created an alliance between 6, which was myself, AJ, Miles, and Morgan and Kate. And apparently that didn't actually exist. So when I'm going back from camp after the PD vote out and I'm getting mad at AJ, I'm like, mate, we're meant to be in this alliance that's just created. Apparently you've pushed really hard for this. He's like, what are you talking about? And the girls were pissed off and they were like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, right.
And that led to the domino effect of them wanting me out because I'd caused all this fuss about something that was nothing. And I was like, I didn't know it was nothing. That's what I got told. So anyway.
And what do you think you're going to take away from your time playing Survivor?
I will take away how resilient I was. I can't believe I didn't just crumble and die out there. I fought my hardest. I mean, my name was out there for 39 days, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I managed to battle, and I learned a lot about myself, and I'm really proud of myself. So I'm taking away that I can do anything that I put my mind to.
Great. And final question, more of an Eden question, but it's still on the list to ask. What is your favorite film?
Oh, I actually chatted with Eden about this, but okay, so I have a few. I made a list, but I'm just going to give you one, and it's
Okay.
going to be super strange, but it is Monty Python's Life of Brian.
Fantastic choice, brilliant choice. Well, thanks so much for your time, Logan, today. We really enjoyed watching you out there. A lot of fun moments. Great to see you have such a long journey as well, and really be on the top and the bottom and fight your way right to the end to that final Rocks vote. But well done, congratulations, and thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Have a good day.